In the shadows of Moria, a profound evil resides deep within. Here lives Durin's Bane, the formidable Balrog of Morgoth. So, during the chaotic happenings of the War of the Ring, why did Sauron not utilize this monstrous entity to strike down his adversaries? Greetings, fellow adventurers of Middle-earth. Let us consider this. If Sauron had attempted to recruit the Balrog, would it have willingly accepted his summons? Although a persistent fury and a longing for vengeance undoubtedly burned within the Balrog's essence, its actions appeared to be largely motivated by a profound fear. Since the downfall of Morgoth and the defeat of its kin, it sought refuge in the isolated depths beneath the misty mountains, a haven far removed from the perils that awaited it above ground. It only stirred to repel intruders, suggesting that its once blazing spirit now smoldered with a craving for solitude and a wish to be forgotten. These secretive movements indicate a creature tied to its sanctuary under Moria, wary of the world that lay beyond. Perhaps it feared facing the Valar's judgment, a fate more dreadful than any mortal doom. Therefore, the Balrog would likely be unwilling to march under Sauron's standard, as it harbored a deep-seated reluctance to engage once more in the flames of war. It is crucial to recognize that the Balrog's malevolence does not necessarily align with Sauron's intentions. Although they might share enemies, the essence of their desires likely follows different paths through the fabric of their beings. The Balrog, completely loyal to Melkor, found camaraderie in its master's plans. Thus, we can infer that Durin's Bane possessed ambitions similar to Melkor's yearning for destruction and chaos. In contrast, Sauron desired the harmony of order and domination, a maestro intent on shaping the world to his vision. Perhaps the Balrog found comfort in the chaotic whirlwind of disorder, rejecting the Dark Lord's concept of structured control in favor of the raw might of anarchy that evil so passionately embraces. If the Balrog would not willingly join him, could Sauron have forced the hesitant Balrog to his side? It is important to understand that the Dark Lord did not hold a higher rank than the Balrog within the divine hierarchy of creation. Both Sauron and Durin's Bane are ethereal beings, created from primordial essence and part of the esteemed lineage of the Ainur. The Ainur who chose to enter the world were divided into two ranks, the more powerful Valar and the lesser Maiar. Sauron and Durin's Bane were both classified as Maiar. However, within the order of the Maiar, strength, intelligence, and power create diverse patterns. Each individual Maiar has unique abilities and characteristics, ensuring no two are identical. Sauron, a giant among Maiar, possesses greater power than a Balrog, like Durin's Bane. Over time, however, Sauron's strength diminished. His physical form was destroyed during the cataclysmic fall of Númenor, causing him to lose a significant portion of his power. He then invested a large part of his essence into creating the Ring, a piece of himself now distant. Consequently, his power greatly decreased. Observing this weakened spirit, Durin's Bane might have considered him a depleted force, unworthy of loyalty or fealty, at least until the Dark Lord regained the Ring. Sauron may not have been able to command obedience from the Balrog through sheer power alone, but he could have still tried to influence it with the strength of his unyielding spirit. The Dark Lord's authority over his orc armies demonstrates the power of his will. This is shown when his forces falter as his attention shifts to Mount Doom, stirred by Frodo's claim to the Ring. Far away, as Frodo dons the ring and claims it for himself, the Dark Lord becomes instantly aware of him, and his eye, piercing all darkness, gazes across the plain to the door he had created. Throughout his realm, a tremor spread. His servants cowered, his armies stopped, and his captains, suddenly without direction, lost their will and despaired. They were forgotten. The entire mind and purpose of the power that controlled them were now overwhelmingly focused on the mountain. Commanding the spirit of Ophelomai would be an enormous challenge, much more difficult than controlling the thoughts of a mere orc captain. It is likely that he lacked the power to influence Ophelomai. It is probable that he lacked the ability to sway another Maia, especially without the ring. Sauron, a master of deceit and manipulation, employed his skills with undeniable expertise. So, could he have engaged in conversation with the Balrog, or perhaps won its loyalty through cunning deceit? Balrogs, often mistakenly seen as mere brute force without intellect, likely possessed intelligence similar to their other Maia kin, such as Sauron and Saruman. Once celestial beings whose harmonious songs created the very universe, they are far from lacking in intelligence. Thus, it is possible that the Dark Lord might have tried to persuade the Balrog to join his cause. Sauron could create illusions, conjuring visions to entice the Balrog to leave its sanctuary, convincing it that its best chance for survival was through an alliance. Indeed, such trickery and deception perfectly matched the Dark Lord's typical methods. False apparitions were a frequently used tactic in his arsenal. From the lights in the dead marshes to the visions he showed the ring-wraiths to bring them under his control, Sauron excels at this approach. If this was indeed a feasible option, then why did he not attempt to trap the Balrog in his web of deceit? Removing the Balrog from the depths of Moria was an endeavor that did not fit the Dark Lord's intentions, and for numerous reasons, it was not advantageous to his war efforts. King Dain of Erebor chose not to try to reclaim the lost halls of Khazad-dûm. This was mainly because of the threatening presence of the Balrog, which had acted as the cornerstone, preventing Durin's people from assembling a large force to retake Moria for generations. The resurgence of a grand dwarven kingdom in the very center of Middle-earth would have been a significant strategic disadvantage for Sauron, an outcome he could not afford. Sauron, an outcome he could not afford. The Balrog's blockade of the path beneath the Misty Mountains impeded the movements of Sauron's enemies, while allowing his own forces free passage through the shadowed peaks whenever they desired. Therefore, he accepted the Balrog's presence within Moria's depths. A similar line of reasoning influenced his decision regarding Shelob. He allowed her to reign over the paths of Cirith Ungol, as she served as a vigilant guardian and a steadfast deterrent to anyone attempting to infiltrate Mordor unnoticed. Balrogs are fierce warriors. They are not known for their strategic understanding or for offering wise counsel. Instead, they are the straightforward instruments of destruction. Sauron, with a confidence bordering on arrogance, saw no need to further strengthen his military might. For in his view, his legions were unparalleled, unmatched in strength and ferocity. With steadfast belief, he was convinced that victory would be his. Shaped by the sheer force of his armies, their banners dark against the sky, their march relentless and unyielding. For in Gondor, the strength of men was dwindling like the fading light of dusk. Rohan too was on the brink of destruction as the realm was besieged by Saruman's malevolent schemes. Dwarven strength, once formidable, was now distant and somewhat reduced. They would not assist men in their struggle. All elven kind had turned their attention away from Middle-earth, their departure soon to leave a gap among those who would resist the advancing darkness. Within the terrifying ranks of Mordor, however, many mighty creatures dwelled. Among them marched colossal Oliphants, towering Mumakil from the land of Harad, and the dreaded Nazgul riding great fell beasts. Sauron, surrounded by such formidable power, would scarcely have seen the need for another warrior to join their ranks. It is also essential to understand the Dark Lord's requirement for absolute loyalty and submission. Each of his commanders and soldiers willingly bowed before him. Yet, within this dominion, the Balrog, similar in essence to Sauron, would stand as a potential rival. Sauron would remember well the story of Ungoliant, the Great Spider, and Melkor. United in dark harmony, they planted seeds of destruction together. However, beneath the surface of their alliance, treachery lay in Ungoliant's dark heart, as detailed in the Silmarillion. But Ungoliant had grown powerful, and he less so, due to the power that had drained from him. She rose against him, her shadow enveloping him, and she ensnared him in a web of clinging threads to strangle him. Then Morgoth released a terrible cry that echoed through the mountains. In deep, forgotten places, that cry was heard. Far beneath the ruined halls of Angband, in vaults to which the Valar had not descended in their haste of assault, Balrog still lurked, always awaiting their lord's return. And now they swiftly rose, and passing over Heathloom, they arrived at Larmoth like a storm of fire. With their flaming whips, they shattered Ungoliant's webs, causing her to cower and flee, spewing black vapors to obscure her. These events would likely serve as a warning to Sauron, casting doubt on any idea of an alliance with Durin's Bane. The Dark Lord's grand plan, from the forging of the Rings of Power to the tumultuous War of the Ring, focused on one intense desire: absolute domination. A peer and a fellow Maya residing among his followers could create turmoil in his quest for control over all life. In conclusion, while the absence of the Balrog from Sauron's forces might seem puzzling at first glance, it serves as a reminder of the intricate nature of choice and destiny. It encourages us to contemplate the multifaceted nature of evil and the diverse perspectives that exist within Tolkien's rich and captivating mythology. Thank you all very much for watching. If you have enjoyed the artwork in this video, I'm pleased to announce that I have released a range of wall art that you can order now via the link in the description below. I would also like to take this opportunity to light the beacons and call for aid. If you did enjoy this video, I would ask that you click the like button and consider subscribing to the channel. Until next time, farewell, fellow adventurers.